I just want your story about you've been in our treatment with VIVOS appliance for almost a year.
Almost a year, yes.
And you've been working with Dr. Craig before we started.
Yes.
We were doing time. Tell me about your biggest achievement with this.
So far, the biggest thing I've noticed is that in the past year, I no longer have nasal congestion. I had probably, 10 years of chronic nasal congestion where it felt like I was always battling like a sinus infection without actually being sick. And now I can breathe clearly through my nose consistently. Yeah. And I don't, even if I do get like a cold, I don't get clogged like I used to. Yeah, it's like completely.
Things actually do flow.
Yes, like this is all clear now, and I'm not constantly trying to clear congestion.
And
out.
that was the case through pregnancy as well.
Yes,
you kept that. That was the biggest thing, and we started you right when you got pregnant.
Yes.
That was
that was the biggest thing. So like, if my whole family is sick and I get do get a cold, this never is like getting clogged.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. 2 months in upper lower DNA with the block, and we have a report. Tell me.
Yeah, so I have spent my entire life dealing with chronic sinus issues and sinusitis and allergies, postnasal drip, sneezing, allergies, all of the above. And the very first night that I wore the appliance, I woke up in the morning, and usually the first moment that I wake up, I'll be sniffling, my nose will be dripping, I'll be sneezing. In the very first morning that I woke up, that did not happen.
That is awesome. And it was the upper DNA with the block. That is one of the indications of that is mobilizing and allowing that side sphenoid to kind of allow the drip to happen, the CSF.
Yeah.
So that is immediate. And I have heard it several times, but I needed that. Thanks, Ryan.
Of course.
Rate your experience the last 2 years, Janice, in 60 seconds.
Well, it was, you said earlier, what would you call your chapter? And I've been thinking about that. Oh, I want to cry. You always make me cry.
It's okay, you can cry.
But I would compare it to when my first daughter was born, that first 3 months where you're not getting any sleep and you're like sleepwalking and you're a zombie. And then once they start sleeping through the night, you suddenly like wake up and you're like, oh, look, like there's a whole world. I didn't even notice the flowers. And because I was so tired, because I slept so poorly with the sleep apnea, that's what it's kind of been like. It's been like waking up, not having to just be in survival exhaustion mode. Like, can I even make it through the day? I lived on coffee,
Oh, you're making me cry.
Sorry. But,
You're sleeping and you're waking up ready to take on the world and do what God has called you to do.
Yeah, like I can wake up, and it's not perfect. Some days I don't sleep as well as others, but yeah, I don't wake up feeling sick. Like I was so tired, I would wake up and I would be like, am I sick? And then I'd be like, no, I'm just exhausted.
Because you haven't slept.
And then I would be like, I don't understand. I've been in bed for 10 hours. How could I need to go back
how many people need to hear this, Janice? Do you have any idea how many people out there need to hear that testimony? And as much as I want to say it was one thing, but your story unfolded and it was all in your mouth. Everything. The first time I made you cry the first time too. I remember that. You're right. I do make people cry, but for good reasons. Because, your body needs to, and remember my conversation with you that very first time I said, this is your body confirming it wants to change. Your body wants to change. It wants to be unstuck. And hearing you exactly to the day, 2 years later, hear you say that, it's like, it was worth all that I personally have gone through to understand this one aspect of human body, which is the breath. If you're not breathing properly, you can't sleep, you can't restore. And even though you have some genetic things that you just said, that's just genetic. Okay, a limiting, it's not something I chose. It's not a lifestyle I chose. Even that is no longer at the front leading you. Despite of all of that, you're still able to live a healthier life.
Yes.
That is fascinating. I really appreciate this. And I know a lot of people, if I do have permission to post this, because I want people to hear that experience and your story and your changes. I've single-handedly watched you and you faithfully went through that. And I think great things will come in just the next 6 months even. We're not even done. We're a year in the process of the actual DNA device activating it. So, yeah. And maybe there's a woman out there with lipidemia
Probably.
And have a high arch palate and a hooked nose and a double chin and thinking that I need all kinds of cosmetic surgeries on my legs, on my face, on my double chin. You're not overweight, right? It's none of those things. And you look amazing, by the way. So I hope that you feel as amazing as you look, but you look amazing.
I definitely look more alert.